This is a tutorial for Unreal Editor 2.5 for Unreal Tournament 2004. In this video, we will show you how to build your first room. The only prerequisite you'd need would be Unreal Tournament 2004. Once you have that installed on your machine, you would go to the Unreal Tournament 2004 folder and look for the subfolder called System. Then there'll be a file called Unrealed.exe, and you double click on that. The first thing you will see is a tip of the day. So if you are brand new to map editing, these are going to be really useful for you, and as you can see here, you can cycle through all of the tips, or if you choose to hide them, you can simply uncheck this and then you won't see them anymore, but I usually like to keep it on. The second thing you will see is a texture browser. So it is set to textures, but it's also a multi-browser for everything else. Your actors, and this you will not use, called meshes. There's animations, but you will use this tab called static meshes. We'll get into that in a future video. And just so you know, the music doesn't work in here. It used to work in Unreal Tournament 99, but it doesn't work here. And you have sounds as well. But let's go back to the textures, because this is going to be how we start with our first room. In this window, you can see a list of texture packages. So what you want to do is you want to add other packages to this menu choice. You go to File, Open. And just for the purposes of this tutorial, let's take a big one, which is called Humanoid Architecture. As you can see, it's 72 megabytes, so it's a very large package. Let's open this one up. And then you can see that there are different subcategories of textures. And let's start with walls at the beginning. And let me just expand this for you. You can see that there's a few different walls to choose from. I will take this one here because it's quite large. It's 1024 by 1024. I'll select this one so you can see there's a little bit of a green outline on it, and then you can minimize this window so it's over here. Now, if you've never seen my videos before, I will very quickly go through these 4 viewports. The first one here is called Top, and that will be the top view of your map, a bird's eye view. This one is the front, so it's the front of your map, and this one is the side, and this one here is dynamic light. So once I build my first cube, you can then see how these things work. To navigate in these 3 windows, you hold down your left mouse button. So what I'm doing here is I'm holding my left mouse button, and I can go side to side, up and down like this, and that's how you move your view. And it's the same behavior here. So it's hard for you to see probably in the video, but I'm basically holding my left mouse button and moving it around, and the same thing here for the side. Now it behaves differently in the dynamic view, so let me build the first brush first so that you can see how that works. In these 3 windows, if you want to be able to zoom in and out, you need to hold down both the left mouse button and the right mouse button. And as you do that, you can see how the grid expands and reduces. And it's the same behavior here in the front view, and the same behavior here in the side view. The next thing I want to show you is this little tiny joystick, which is called Real-Time Preview. If you click them all on, as you can see, so they're all highlighted, then that means that as you move your camera in any of the windows, it will also be moving in the other 3 windows. So this is going to be very handy once you have your map under construction. Right now, it's hard for me to show you the benefits for that. Then very quickly, let's go through the toolbar at the top. You've got your standard things here. So here it's create a new map, open one up that you've already built, save. You have undo and a redo feature. You've got search for actors, an actor browser, group browser, music browser, which I mentioned does not work in Unreal Tournament 2004, but it does work in UT99, a sound browser, the texture browser, which I showed you, the mesh, which does not work, prefabs, which I won't get into either, and then the static mesh browser, which does work, animations, and then the 2D shape editor, which I've already covered in UT99, so there's probably not much difference there. Then I want to show you something else that's important for when you build. These are called the build buttons. Here you're building geometry only, you're building lighting only, you're only building the lighting that has changed, you're building the paths, this is where the bots go, and again building only the changes to the paths, and this is build all. And I won't get into build options, you should leave that alone for now. And then this little joystick here is the playtest your map, and we're going to show that in this video as well. So very quickly, if you haven't seen my older videos, imagine that your editor space here is a solid chunk of clay. This is all solid, even though it looks like a vacuum, this is all solid. So the very first brush that you will do if you want to create some playable space for your players is you will need to carve out a space here. And to do that, you'll be using this button here, which is called subtract. So you can imagine that subtract means you're going to carve something out. And then you have an add, which is you're going to add stuff into the area that you've carved out. Let's start, at least for now, we'll start with subtract and the different types of brushes you can have. So here's the cube, which we will use today. There is a curved staircase, spiral staircase, linear staircase. There is BSP based terrain, a sheet, which is only a two-dimensional brush, a cylinder, a cone, the volumetric, which is non-solid but has some 3D aspect to it, and a sphere. So today we're just going to focus on the cube. What you do is you move your mouse over so that it's over it, then you right click, and here you can see the properties. Now if you have a hollow cube, which we're not going to do, but if you had a hollow one, then you would need to worry about the wall thickness. But we're going to do the reverse. We're just going to have a solid cube, so you don't need to touch any of these pieces here. These 1, 2, 3, 4, just leave them the way they are by default. What we're concerned about right now is the height, the width, and the breadth meaning how deep it is. And it's going to be these viewports that will allow you to sort of visualize it in a more 3D perspective. So let's go with, for now, a height of 512, a width of 1024, and a depth of 1280. So that'll be the size of our first room. You click on the build button, and now, let me just close this. Now you can see that shape. Now this here is only a wireframe. This is not the brush itself. This wireframe will show you the exact location of where the brush will be, and obviously the orientation of it. And now I can show you how to navigate in this window. If you hold down the left mouse button, I can go in and I can go around it and back up. And then if I were to hold down both the left and the right mouse button, I'm going along the Z-axis, which means up and down. So this way you get a different perspective of that. So here is the brush, and as you will recall, I've already selected a texture, which is this one here. As you can see, there's a green outline. So let me just minimize that again. Now when I hit on the subtract button, I have carved out that space inside my Unreal Ed universe, and this space here is your playable surface for now. This is what we call our first room. So here, as you can see, the walls look good, even though the scale is off, but the walls look good. It's looks a bit funny on the floor. So what I've done here, you can see how you can click on a surface and it'll become blue. So what you do is you click on the floor. Then you call up your texture browser, and instead of the walls category, let's change that to floors. And let's pick a nice floor texture, like this one looks pretty cool. I'll take this one. So it's selected. And now you'll see it has changed the floor texture only. Now you hold down the left and the right mouse buttons to level up a bit to here. Click on the ceiling so it turns blue. Come back to your texture browser. Go into the subcategories here. Choose ceilings. And there's not much choice, but I guess we can take this one as our ceiling. And there you go. So now this is your first room. We have a nice floor texture and the wall texture and the ceiling texture. The next thing you will need that's critical is a player start, and that's where your first player will spawn. So what you do is you take your mouse, you have it on the floor, you right click, and you will see this option is always available in your menu, which is called Add Player Start. So you do that. There's what it looks like. You can see that it is green because it's selected, and it also has a red arrow pointing, which will show you which direction it's facing. So let me go into this top window, and with my left mouse button, I'm going to move over to where it is there. And then I'll just zoom out a little bit so you can see here's the whole room. And so when this player spawns, he's going to be facing in this direction. Let's move him a bit closer to the wall. So while he is selected, which means he is green, you hold down the Control key and the left mouse button and drag to your desired position. So I'm going to put him more towards the wall, and I'll show you in this view. You can see how I've moved him all the way over here, but he's not facing the wall, he's facing away from the wall, so that's good. And so remember, he has to be green. This little item has to be green. If I click away from it, that'll deselect it, and now I won't be able to move him. The next thing you'll want to do is give him a weapon. So now I can show you the actor class browser, which is the little chess pawn. And here you're going to, this is a little bit different from UT99. Here you're going to go to this, the X pickup base. You click on the plus sign to expand it, and you go to X weapon base. So you click on that. So in UT 2004, it's a little bit different. You're going to select X weapon base. Let me minimize that. And okay, so since he's over here, let's put the weapon base on the other side of the room. So I have my mouse here, right click, add the weapon base, and there's the thing. And if I just show you it, here it is on this map, and here is the front view, so you can see it there, and here's the side view, so there it is there. Now you have to click on it so that it's selected, so it turns bright green, and then you right on any window you can right click on it. So I'll do it on this window so you can see it better. Right click and select properties. Then you go down to the weapon base, the X weapon base, and it wants to know what type of weapon. So let's click on this. You'll get a little drop down menu. Let's take the rocket launcher. So now this base will only spawn rocket launchers. Now we'll give you some ammo. So you go back up to your actor class browser. So now you go to the actor class browser, pick up ammo, UT ammo, and then you will need the rocket. This is the ammo for the rocket launcher. So it's rocket ammo pickup. And let's put that here on the floor. Again, right click. And you'll see it there. So let me move it. There it is. And just a little cosmetic trick, you can see how it's a little bit off the floor, so you can click on it so that it's green, Then you hold down the control key and the left mouse button and just drag it down a little bit. So it's going to look a little bit better because now it's flush to the floor. And the next trick I'm going to show you, because we want more than one, so you click on it so that it's selected, right click and duplicate. So there's two of them. And in this, as you can see here, I'm now in the top view. I'm just going to move it over a little bit. So hold down the control and the left mouse button and put it there. So now you can see I have 2 packs of rocket ammo and I have a rocket base. The next thing you want to do is to add some health. So again, actor class browser, X pickup base, and then health charger. Right click on the floor, add a health charger. Okay, and let me just click on it so that you can see it better. There it is, and you can see this one also is off the floor. So again, hold down the control key and the left mouse button and bring it down to the ground. Okay, and then the last thing is the shield. So actor class browser, X pickup base, shield charger, and let's put that on the floor. There it is there. So click on it so that it's bright green. And again, control plus left mouse button and drag it down so it's flush with the floor like that. And right now you are almost ready to go. You have no lights. So if you actually tried to play test this map, it would be dark. So let's, again, you take your mouse and right click. And this light option is always available in the menu. So you click on add light. As you can see, it's here, but it's on the ground. So you have to click on it so that it turns green. And let's take this view here and control and left mouse button to drag it up to, let's say, the middle of the room. Now it's up here in the middle of the room. So this way it'll illuminate the whole room. A couple more things I want to show you before we build is if you view of the level properties, so up here in the top menu, view level properties, you go into level info, which is this one. Here under default game type, I'm going to copy this piece, which is copy and paste that into here, and that says that the default map for this one is a deathmatch map. So that's all I've done, copy and paste from there. And then level summary, you're going to put your name here, and then you can put a little bit of a description, so this will show up in the menu like so. And then down here you can choose your ideal player count. So obviously this is just a test, but you could put 2 and 4 or whatever you choose. And then the title of the map is going to be, I don't know, 003 test, for example. So level summary and level info. Then next you want to save this file to save the work that you got. So file, save as, and then same thing, DM, and the file extension for your map is UT2. Hit save. So you've got everything. You have built one cube, you've selected some textures from a texture package, you've added a PlayerStart, weapon, ammo, health, and shield, and a light. All you need to do now is called build. And just for now, we'll use this one, which is build everything. This particular icon has the cube and the light bulb together. You click on that. Takes a second to do because I've only got one room. And now you can play test your map with the joystick. So here you can see the room that we built. press fire. So here is the shield charger, the health charger, the rocket launcher, and the 2 packs of ammo. So I think each one has 9. Yeah, 9. There you go. So now you're full. And if you damage yourself, down to 71, then I can come over here and get the health, which I believe is 25. And you can also pick up the shield at any point. So that's your first room, and I will put a link to my UT99 playlist because a lot of the tutorials that I did for UT99 will still apply to 2004 editor. Obviously there's going to be some differences, so I will cover those in a future tutorial. Also, I'll put a list of other games which use the same engine, for example, Splinter Cell or BioShock. These are other games that use the same Unreal Engine 2.5, which means that they would have their own map editors, but they'll have the same interface or a very similar interface to this one as well.